On the Cabinet on this 22nd of January. The first item on the agenda is to appoint a chairperson. I'm happy to chair. Could I have a proposer and seconder, please?
I would like to second that.
No, proposer.
Or propose. I would like to propose you, Councillor.
Thank you. A seconder, please.
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you, Wyndham. Agenda item 2 is the Chair's announcements. So again, Bore da, good morning and welcome to this meeting of Cabinet on the 22nd of January 2024. I am Councillor Steve Hunt, leader of Neath Talbot Council. Can I welcome any members of the public that might be viewing this meeting? And please can I ask you to ensure that your microphones are switched to off as you are here to observe the meeting only. Members and officers, please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting and that your microphones are switched to mute unless you are speaking. In addition, when asked to raise your hand, if members who are virtually attending this meeting could raise your electronic hand, for members here in the chamber, raise your physical hands. I will now need to declare an interest for the urgent report. So I will leave the room at that point and hand over the chair to my deputy leader, Councillor Alan Llewellyn. So agenda item 3 is declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of interest for members? Please would members say what the items are and what the interest is. And if you have any, Tammy will forward you an electronic version for you to complete and email back to her at that time. I don't see any from members, so I will let Tammy know what the urgent item is, and it's the APSI Wales Chair, Housing and Homelessness and Community Support item. It's the urgent report. I'll declare an interest because it's in relationship to myself, Tammy.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4. Are the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 13th of December 2023 and the 20th of December, the special meeting on 2023 as well. I refer you to pages 3 to 16 of your agenda packs. The minutes are here for approval of accuracy. Can I ask members if they have any comments in relationship to these minutes? I don't see any, so I will happily propose these minutes. Could I have a seconder, please?
Falch i Eilio Cadeirydd, please to second.
Thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're content with the accuracy of those minutes, and Tammy can confirm the outcome for me, please.
Yes, Leader. No indications to the contrary, so those minutes have been approved.
Thank you, Tammy. Agenda item 5 is the Forward Work Programme 2023-2024. Do officers have any further comments to add?
Nothing to add, Leader. Thank you.
Thank you. We will note the Forward Work Programme, members. Thank you. Agenda item 6 is public question time. I have received no notifications from the public to speak at today's meeting. Agenda item 7 is the self-assessment 2022-2023. The report is on pages 19 to 68 and is here for a decision. Can I ask Karen Furlow if she has anything further to add, please?
Thank you, Chair. Nothing to add to the report, but just to say we'll take on board the comments made by Cabinet scrutiny, including the addition of numbers alongside the percentages before we publish the assessment.
Thank you, Karen. Chief Exec, please.
Yes, if I may, Leader, just to reassure members of the Cabinet, first of all, the self-assessment is for the financial year 2022-2023. So we're talking about last year, not the current financial year. And you'll recall that in that year, we were very, very focused on the recovery still from the pandemic. And what we were clear about when we came into 2023-2024, that we would be giving more attention to the restoration of the wider council governance systems in this financial year, 2023-2024, because we felt that we'd actually moved the recovery of services and functions a great deal of a way forward in the previous financial year. The approach to self-assessment that we take as officers is to be very self-critical, and we've always been congratulated by our external auditors in the way that we do that, because it is important to have honest self-assessments. That's the purpose of them. So I think, just to give you reassurance, that where we did not deliver things that we planned to do in 2022, 2023, you will see that those are featuring as areas for focus in 2023, 2024. And just to support the point that Karen made in the meeting, we did a lot of research on the approach to self-assessment when we were looking at ways in which we'd meet the new statutory duties, and we had academic input into that as well. I think now we've got 2 years under our belt, we are better placed to know whether or not this particular approach is helpful or not. And I'm sure under Noelwyn's leadership, when we bring back the approach for 2024, we'll be able to demonstrate that we're actually maturing the way in which we undertake this. So, not to take away anything that was said in scrutiny, because if the reports are not clear enough, then clearly we need to hear those messages and take them on board. But I wouldn't want you to be concerned that there were targets missed in 2022, 2023, because the main focus in that year was keeping a balanced budget and making sure the services recovered from the impact of the pandemic. And we are now focusing very much on how we make sure those wider corporate governance arrangements that are touched on in this self-assessment are progressed as we move forward.
Thanks for that, Karen. Karen's was clear enough as far as I'm concerned, and you've just outlined some of the other points that we needed to take on board, and very much clear to me. So, members, any questions? Councillor Alan Llewellyn, please.
Thanks, Chair. It's not a question, but it's just a brief comment, Chair, that, to thank scrutiny members for the questions and to the officers for their responses. And we note that the report has also been considered by the Governance and Audit Committee recently. So thanks to them for their consideration also. I'm sure that all the points will be taken up. And as the Chief Exec has just assured us, what we're looking at today is a retrospective report, but we're aware of a tremendous amount of work that is continuing on these themes during the current year, and I'm sure that will be reflected in the next self-assessment that will come before us in due course.
Thank you, Alan. Anybody else? No? I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 21 within your agenda pack. I'm happy to propose this recommendation. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Alan. Any abstentions? Members, if you don't indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you're in favour of the recommendations, and Tammy will confirm this for me once more.
No indications to the contrary, Chair. Those recommendations have been approved.
Thank you, Tammy. Agenda item 8 is the update report on the settlement position. The report is in the separately circulated supplement pack and is here for information. Can I ask Hugh if he has anything further to add?
No, nothing to add, Chair. Thank you. Tim BDV. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Members, any questions? Councillor Nia Jenkins, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just think it's important to put on record that I have significant concerns about the proposed cuts to specific grants. For example, Communities for Work, when the locality is looking at 2.8 thousand redundancies at Tata, not to mention the potential loss of jobs within the supply chain, and we see that there's a risk to the funding of up to 14 individuals with the Communities for Work. We need the knowledge and the specialist skills of the employees in the Communities for Work group, and I find it very concerning that the Welsh Government are thinking about taking this away. The same with the youth service and parenting. We've got well-recognised issues regarding attendance and exclusions at school. There's a rise in ALN and developmental challenges seen in pupils. And again, we have an ageing population and there's more demand on children's services, yet social care workforce grant is being cut. So I would just like to personally urge the Welsh Government to reconsider these cuts. This is a time when these services are needed more than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jenkins, any further comments from members? Can I just also say, obviously, the settlement and the specific grants haven't been finalised. We will know more in time. But I have sent a lobbying letter to all MSs and the Minister for Finance on some of the points you have raised, urging them to relook at before they relook at the funding before the final announcement is made. And I would urge what you have said, Councillor Jenkins, all members to continue to lobby. We haven't had the final announcement. It's imperative that we do this at a scale, or Neath Talbot Council will find themselves, like other councils in Wales, in a very difficult position, specifically on the specific grants and setting of the budget. So thank you for that. This report is settlement position is to note the report. So that's what we will do. Agenda item 9 is our urgent items. Any urgent items, whether public or exempt, at the discretion of the chairperson pursuant to regulation 5(4)(b) of Statutory Instrument 2001 numbers 2290 as amended. I have received one urgent item which we will now consider. As previously mentioned, I have declared an interest in this item, so I will now hand over the chair to Councillor Alan Llewellyn and leave the meeting for this item. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. The urgent report is contained within the separately circulated supplement pack and is here for decision. Our legal officer, Joanna Stevens, is present. Joanna, do you have anything further to add?
Just to explain that this report, Chair, is to regularise the position going forward to reflect APSI's internal reorganisation and is in light of APSI's request for the leader to be appointed Chair of the new APSI Housing, Homeless and Community Support Group. And the urgency is due to the proximity of the first meeting date following APSI's request. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Do members have any questions? I don't see any. I now refer members to the recommendations on page 5 of the supplement pack. I propose if we could have a seconder, please.
Happy to second, Chair.
Are there any abstentions? I don't see any abstentions. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations, and Tammy will confirm.
Thank you, Chair. No indications to the contrary, so those recommendations have been approved.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you. I'll now ask the leader to rejoin the meeting and resume the chair, please.
Okay, thanks everyone. Agenda item 10 is access to meetings. So now to resolve to exclude the public for the following items pursuit of regulations 4, 3 and 5 of the Statutory Instrument 2001 numbers 2290 and paragraph 14 of part 4 of the schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972. I am happy to propose that we now move into private session. Could I have a seconder, please?
Falch i eilio, I'm pleased to second, Chair.
Thanks, Alan. Can I ask, are there any abstentions? Don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you're in favour of moving into private. Tammy, will you confirm? And also, can you make sure that the recording has stopped and any members present have left?